Welcome to Meet Me Halfway. I'm Jordan Griffith. He is Austin McNorton, the iconic desk clap. We are back officially for our Thursday show. Now, this is our only show once again. We do it once per week. Extended show, just like last time. It's going to be a little over an hour. And we're going to pack all of our segments into this one show. So we're going to have Fact or Fiction. We're going to have our Twitter poll question for you guys. We're going to have everything that you want to hear. It's going to be another NFL edition pretty much because not really a whole lot going on. You got pennant races kind of finishing up in baseball. But right now, I have the NFL fever. Austin, I'm so sorry. Say hi to the people.
What's going on, people? There's a lot going on in the world of the NFL, like there always is.
And fair warning to you guys watching at home. I got a new dog, just a puppy, about 8 months old. Just a puppy. There will be barking at random moments for no reason, and I'm not going to be able to edit that out. She just barks, and there's no reason or nothing startles her or anything. She just starts barking. Like she'll just be laying down on the couch, just get up and start barking for absolutely no reason. So just bear with me. Just stay with us, guys.
I'm in a super quiet recording studio here, so you won't hear anything from me.
Thanks, all.
Got the power move on my part, to be honest.
I mean, we did do the Twitter poll of who has the better background, and I do remember.
But who's in the now better location?
I mean, Maryville, Missouri, Atlanta, Georgia. I don't know. I don't know.
It's pretty clear. All right. Was the better option.
All right, moving on to the NFL. We have a lot of stories to cover, a lot of big-time stories that are just pretty much sweeping the nation, and I'm not exaggerating with that. I want to first talk to you, Austin, about maybe the best corner in the NFL right now, Jalen Ramsey, having that dispute with Doug Marrone, former Syracuse and former Buffalo Bills head coach, current Jacksonville Jaguars head coach, on the sideline after that loss to the Texans. Or during the loss to the Texans, rather. He goes back to the bench. He's trying to get in a physical altercation with Doug Marrone. Kind of simmers down a little bit. And Doug Marrone comes storming back, says something, and then another kind of scuffle ensues after that. So briefly after that game, Jacksonville falls to 0-2, lost to the Chiefs, lost to the Texans in the first 2 weeks. Jalen Ramsey and his agent request a trade from Jacksonville. And this has been no secret. He doesn't want to be there. A guy that wears his heart on his sleeve, you could say, in a way. So he's looking to be traded out of Jacksonville. So first of all, Austin, I'm going to ask you, what are the best destinations do you think best fits around the NFL for him? And do you think if you were that team, would you take him in at this point, given all the sideline antics, the trash talking that comes with Jalen Ramsey? Like showing up into a Brinks truck before training camp starts, all that kind of stuff.
As much as it pains me to say, I think a team in terms of best fit would be the Philadelphia Eagles. That would just really kill me to see that. But what I saw for them on Sunday night against, of course, Matt Ryan and that offense is deadly for sure. But this is a team in Philadelphia that feels like we're in win now. We have our franchise quarterback. We feel like we have some significant pieces on our defense. But right now, particularly in the secondary, Ronald Darby's on an island. He's out there by himself. And really, he's being utilized, and I think too much, and he's not comfortable out there. So I think by acquiring Jalen Ramsey, they can kind of, solidify, I guess, their secondary. Because so at the time, I don't think the Eagles really thought they would need a secondary piece starting out in the season. But then you lose Malik Jackson, who's now gone for the year. And then you lose Timmy Jernigan, who got hurt in week 2. So who knows when he'll be back. But look, then they have their interior pass rushers. They're starting to get some injuries there too. So they've just got to get better in the secondary and someone to help Ronald Darby so he's not out there by himself, getting torched by Matt Ryan, getting torched by some of these elite quarterbacks that the Eagles are going to be facing this season. So as much as a Dallas Cowboys fan, I would hate to see them receive an elite guy like this. I think him in Philadelphia would be a tremendous fit. Now, in terms of the Chiefs, who I think are right there, I think in the second team for acquiring Jalen Ramsey, my biggest thing is how much does he affect their team chemistry, which is probably the best in the NFL right now. We know we saw some problems with Marcus Peters in that team in the secondary, and I think Andy Reid is equipped to deal with guys like that. Whereas if Jalen Ramsey went to the Eagles, I don't think it would be as much of a problem chemistry-wise as I do with the Chiefs. So I don't know. I think he would perform well with the Chiefs, but I think a better fit would be Philadelphia right now. And that pains me to say. Trust me. I don't want to see that happen. I'd rather him go to the Chiefs. Please take him. Don't let the Eagles get him, Chiefs. Come on, Andy. Come on, Clark. Do your thing, please.
If we want to go around, the three most popular locations discussed are the Chiefs, Seahawks, and the Eagles. Yep. So if we're going by fit, I think the two best fits are actually going to be – I actually put Philadelphia at number 3 in terms of fit. Okay. And here's why. So I have Seattle at number 1 because I truly think that Pete Carroll is able to turn these corners. He made Richard Sherman – not that Richard Sherman isn't one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL. He made Richard Sherman a larger-than-life figure in that Legion of Boom back there in the secondary. The Seahawks, it's no secret that their secondary is depleted. It's gone. Everyone. Cam Chancellor retired. Earl Thomas breaks his leg. He's out. Shed breaks his arm in the Super Bowl. We all remember that. And then you have a guy like Richard Sherman leaving to go to the San Francisco 49ers. He tore his Achilles before he did that. You just have you had so many injuries before these guys left. I feel like this is the time to finally jump on the bandwagon because they're 2-0 now. They're looking like one of the better teams in the NFL. They're running the ball with precision. Russell Wilson is doing his thing, and his defense is playing much better than most people expected them to. Even though that game against Cincinnati, I'd be worried there for John Ross tearing them up in the secondary. So I think the best fit would be in Seattle, but I think not too far behind is Kansas City because I'm, again, looking at the defensive coordinator, the guy who's calling the defensive plays, and that is Steve Spagnuolo in Kansas City. And he made Janoris Jenkins, who, since Spagnuolo left, is nothing more than above-average corner, make him look like a top, like, awesome. Me and you were discussing, is this guy the best corner in the NFL? 2 years ago, we were talking about that. Is this guy the best corner in the NFL? Like, where did this guy come from? He came from the Rams. Nobody wanted him in St. Louis, L.A. All of a sudden, he's in New York, and he's just tearing it up. So I think you can get a guy like Spags who loves zone coverage, even though I think Jalen Ramsey's a man guy. He's not really much of a zone coverage guy. The Chiefs are going to play a lot of zone. I still think I'm going off the confidence. I think he made Janoris Jenkins look like that. What could he possibly do with Jalen Ramsey? And then for the Eagles, again, I'm going to look at the defensive coordinator, Jim Schwartz. This is a guy that loves to blitz. And that's just not something that I want to get one of the best corners in the NFL tangled up in. A guy that is blitz heavy, especially with his defensive linemen going down. I don't expect him to just stop blitzing without 2 of his best defensive linemen. I don't expect that to keep happening. I think he's going to keep blitzing. And that's going to leave Jalen Ramsey on an island, and these guys aren't going to be able to get to the pass, to get to the quarterback. So he's going to be covering for 10 seconds, and you can't be doing that. I don't care who you are. You can't be Deion Sanders. So I don't expect Philadelphia to be a good fit. Because
that's what they're doing with Ronald Darby right now. They're continuing to blitz, and he's out there by himself.
And Ronald Darby is naturally a slot corner. He's not a traditional numbers guy where he can cover and lock down a side of the field. That's Jalen Ramsey. And I get the need. The need for Jalen Ramsey, Chiefs, Eagles, Seahawks. I think that is what we're going for because the Seahawks are going young. Chiefs are already young on that side. And then you have the Eagles who are kind of old on that side. You could use Jalen Ramsey. It's just I just don't see the defensive scheme fit with Jim Schwartz there in Philadelphia. I hope he goes to Seattle. I do not want to see him in Kansas City, Austin. As a Kansas City Chiefs fan.
Really? Okay. That was going to be my next question. You don't want to see him.
I do not want to see Jalen Ramsey in a Chiefs uniform. Would I be upset if he was? I wouldn't say that. But this is a guy that plays dirty after the whistle. He doesn't get credit for it because he's getting credit for all of his smack talk and his trash talk toward other players. But He was taking cheap shots at Chiefs players 1 week ago. This is a guy that was literally punching our teammates in the face, and all of a sudden you want me to be okay with him being on the team. That's nothing I'm not going to be happy about. Then again, if the price is right, I understand them going and
What
get
is the right price?
1 first rounder and a second. No more than that, no less. That's what it's going to take. If you give 2 first rounders up for Jalen Ramsey, I think you're throwing out a large future that you could possibly be having. I know it's going to be late first round pick for the Chiefs. I understand that. Possibly 32, But I still don't like ever throwing away 2 first round picks for one guy that could decline at any moment. And I know that could be said for any player, but I don't like 2 first round picks for him. I like a first and a second. I don't want to see him in a Chiefs uniform. I don't think we've seen.
Don't you think he could help you win a Super Bowl though?
The thing is
he puts your defense from average to slightly above average.
If you've been watching this Chiefs defense, they've been good in the first 2 weeks. I know you've been saying they don't look much better than the last 2.
And they haven't played anyone yet.
But you're absolutely right, 100%. But these games have been wrapped up by halftime. It's like college football. They destroyed the Raiders in the second quarter, and they destroyed the Jaguars in the first quarter. These games have been wrapped up by halftime. At that point, prevent defenses are amongst one of the most used in the second half when it comes to the Chiefs defense. And Tyrann Mathieu, Frank Clark aren't even getting started yet. Those guys haven't really been much of a factor yet. And those are the 2 biggest acquisitions. And Rashad Breeland and Chartavius Ward both have 1 interception on the year. They both have a pick. They've both been playing very well, I think. And I know people give them a lot of crap for it. That we have one of the worst cornerback depths in the NFL. These guys have been playing pretty well. So I'm not 100%. I'm not sold on the fact that we need a corner or we need Jalen Ramsey. I think Jalen Ramsey needs the Chiefs more than the Chiefs need Jalen Ramsey. Okay. And you know what? I'm a Jalen Ramsey fan. I think when he's right,
I think you're kind of in the minority with that too.
Oh, you're absolutely you're right. Too many times, Austin, I've seen this Chiefs organization swing and miss over on and off field characters. I'm not willing to bet again on Jalen Ramsey. Marcus Peters is that one. There's no off-the-field issues. And Jalen Ramsey, no off-the-field issues. They're upstanding citizens outside of that. On the field, these guys are not – these guys are point-the-finger guys. These are not team guys. Jalen Ramsey does not strike me as a guy that's going to – if he blows a coverage, he's not going to be the kind of guy that says, oh, that's my fault. Marcus Peters wasn't that either. He was the guy that blames the safety for not giving him help. He's the guy that blames a linebacker for not coming over at the right time. I don't like that, and I think that chemistry will really knock out the Chiefs. I don't like the move for the Chiefs, especially for 2 first-round picks. Okay, we'll move on. Going to Eli Manning. Daniel Jones is officially the New York Giants starting quarterback. Week 3 at Tampa Bay is going to be his first career start. That means Eli Manning is officially officially done for the year. I doubt they would ever put him back in there. He will retire after this year, more than likely. So, with all that being said, if Eli does retire after this year, this is the final time we is Eli Manning a Hall of Famer?
It's crazy to think. Like, when was the last time that a Manning wasn't a starting quarterback in the NFL? Like, it's so, I mean,
yeah,
that's crazy to think about. It has to be back in, like, I don't even know, when Peyton got drafted, probably.
Right.
So that's just crazy to think about, first of all.
You there?
But throughout the rest of his career, it's been, I don't know, kind of mediocre. You know, I mean, it hasn't been super spectacular.
Okay, so hold on. You cut out like for about 15 seconds there between talking about the last Peyton Manning being drafted, and then it just froze. So I didn't catch that.
Okay. All right.
So start. Peyton Manning gets drafted. Then all
right. So Eli Manning is interesting in the fact because he has 2 Super Bowls, 2 Super Bowl MVPs, but throughout the rest of his career, It's been kind of mediocre. However, how often do you see a quarterback start in 232 games of his career? That doesn't happen very often. And this is a guy who was always pretty consistent, and you knew what you were going to get from him. Two-time Super Bowl champion. I don't know. When you look at some of the elite quarterbacks in the Hall of Fame, yeah, he's not up to some of those guys. I don't think he's up, but in terms of consistency, the amount of games that he played, the Super Bowls that he has, I think he's a Hall of Famer.
I think a big thing that comes down to this, and I think well said there, because 100% a lot of that is true. I think the biggest thing is each individual, we have our own criteria for the Hall of Fame, right? Like my definition of Hall of Famer may not be your definition of Hall of Famer. And it's all because of what do we value. And the one thing that I value is if I'm sitting down and I'm telling you the story of the NFL, the NFL's history, can I just skip you over and
Eli Manning is part of that history?
You have to talk about Eli Manning. You have to talk about the David Tyree play. You have to talk about the Mario Manningham play. You have to talk about him beating this 17-0, 17-1 New England Patriots. You have to talk about that. There is no other option. He beat Tom Brady twice, the only man to ever do it. Yes, he finished as a 500 quarterback, and I think that actually is the reason why they sat him. He ended up at 116 even. If he would have played one more, we know they're not going to have a winning record this year. He would have had a losing record, losing quarterback in the NFL Hall of Fame. Doesn't look good.
That's kind of crazy. I'm looking at that too. I didn't even really notice that until that's
right.
Pretty crazy.
It thought they could sneak it past me. No,
that's kind of convenient.
Yeah. Yeah, they did that 100% on purpose. I think they were smart. They should have done it a game ago so he'd have a winning record. But hey. So he's a 500 quarterback, but I cannot tell you the story, Austin, of the NFL without Eli Manning and those New York Giants teams, without the Justin Tuck 3-sack game, without Michael Strahan, without O.C. Umenyiora, those dominant defenses, and then the amazing clutch time plays in all of NFL history. Those are two of the most amazing plays in NFL history made by the same guy. You don't get one of those, and he's made two of them, and he's won 2 MVPs. I understand he's definitely tapered off in the end of his career, more than tapered off. I'm being nice by saying that. He's been horrible these past few years. His arm has died. He's never been able to move. But the fact is, he was great when it mattered the most. And I think that is something that truly.
Trust me, I know. I can't tell you the amount of time game-winning drives I've seen him beat against my team. So much.
Exactly. And you know what? He never won a playoff game outside of those 2 Super Bowl runs. But who cares? I don't. Do you care about that?
He beat the greatest quarterback, greatest NFL football team of all time. Greatest team of all time.
If they would have beat the Giants, they would be over the 85 Bears that everyone always talks about. They would be the 85 Bears of this generation. But they lost to Eli Manning. That says it all for me. And I understand the stats 116-116. Well, Joe Namath has had a losing record in his career. Austin, go up and look Kenny Stabler's Hall of Fame stats. Are you kidding me? How is this guy in there? Stats are becoming so inflated nowadays that we almost can't even use these things. I look at, do I tell the story of the NFL? Can I leave you out? I can't leave you out, Eli Manning. You're a Hall of Famer.
I 100% agree. And you look at the rest of some of the people are saying, oh, well, putting Eli Manning in there among some of those quarterbacks like, Roger Staubach and, some of these all-time Brett Favre and some of these all-time greats. It's like, no, he's one of those guys. He's one of those guys. And he doesn't have the numbers. He doesn't have any of the hype around him or anything. But what he did for that long is what gets me. For that long in the league.
60 years.
Yeah.
And also, what you were just saying is an argument that I can't stand. They say, well, how are you going to put Eli Manning with Peyton Manning? You're not. I'm not saying Eli Manning is Peyton
We're
Manning.
not comparing him to those guys.
Yes, exactly. We're not saying
We're
the
not
best
saying
quarterback.
Eli's better than Peyton Manning, no doubt.
Right.
No.
Thank you. It's the most ridiculous argument. Well, how could you group Eli Manning in with, with Deion Sanders and Bruce Smith and Peyton Manning and Tom Brady? You're not doing that. They're in a certain group together. We all understand there's tiers to this. There's the Joe Montanas. Then down there's a Troy Aikmans and Roger Staubachs. And then below that, there's the Joe Namaths and the guys that laid the foundation. Everyone plays their role in the NFL history. He's played his. Deal with it. Eli's a Hall of Famer. All right. We're going to move on to current NFL again. Who has this is a pretty interesting question I thought of. Who has a more certain future? So, Big Ben Roethlisberger. I think he broke his elbow. I don't know exactly what he did with his elbow, but he pretty much blew his arm out on a routine flat throw last week. He's out for the season, season-ending surgery. And then Drew Brees, who pretty much breaks his thumb, hitting Aaron Donald on a throw. Hitting Aaron Donald's hand on a throw. He's out for 6 to 7 weeks, and he's in a cast as of today.
Tough look for the MVPs on Meet Me Halfway.
Both of our MVPs, Austin's Drew Brees, and mine was Ben Roethlisberger.
Brutal stuff. We suck. We don't know anything. Like,
wow.
Oh my God. We're sorry. We're sorry, Drew. We're sorry, Big Ben. We jinxed it.
The curse. That is unbelievably unlucky.
That is unbelievable. Like, we jinxed it. I just feel so bad about it.
100% jinxed it. Okay, so between Ben Roethlisberger and Drew Brees, who has the more certain future? And I'm talking about next year. Is it Drew Brees or is it Ben Roethlisberger?
I honestly, like,
man.
I really don't know. Like, that's terrible to say because you're like, oh, well, you guys are supposed to be the experts here and be able to. I don't know. Like, right now, it's so up in the air about neither of these teams really have backup quarterbacks that they can, like, turn to the future. They both have pretty good relationships with their head coach, and their whole franchises were revolving around them. The whole city of New Orleans revolves around Drew Brees. The whole city of Pittsburgh revolves around Ben Roethlisberger. They are the integral part of both of these entire franchises. So who has a more certain future? I don't know. Who wants to be done? Who's older? Who's even older between the two? Is Drew older?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know, because to me, Ben Roethlisberger seemed like some more serious injury.
It does. It is because he is out for the year.
It was a non-contact. It seems like a more serious injury. Drew Brees is older though, so I don't know. If I were to just 100% gut, I would say Big Ben probably has a more certain future.
Okay.
But I don't know.
But you're not happy about it.
I don't know. Like, I'm not saying, oh yeah, 100% he's gonna last longer than Drew Brees, because if it was the other way around, then I'd be like, okay, yeah, that wouldn't surprise me either. Like, this may be the toughest question we've ever answered on this show.
I think it is, because I kind of do disagree with one of the things that you said, is that I actually think that these teams have among some of the best backup quarterbacks. Mason Rudolph is a guy that they have had in store when Big Ben retires. He was going to be the guy no matter what. Sure. So, and then trading Minkah Fitzpatrick for our first-round pick for this upcoming draft tells me that they are very confident in Mason Rudolph. So, that tells me that Drew Brees has the more certain future. Because
you don't believe in Teddy Bridgewater as a backup quarterback?
I think Teddy Bridgewater is almost just as good as a backup quarterback. And they have Taysom Hill, too. But actually, I don't know.
Right?
I don't know, because the thing is, I'm not 100% sure, even before this injury, that Drew Brees was going to play past this season. Because you can't tell me that Drew Brees has a lively arm right now, Austin. Can you?
You saw it at the end of last season. That's why he lost the MVP to Mahomes.
You saw at the end of last season, and I still see something here. I still see something this season. And there's a reason Michael Thomas is his number one wide receiver instead of a burner. Michael Thomas is not a deep threat at all. He's a possession guy. Half of their completions to Michael Thomas are drags across the middle so Drew Brees can read, be cerebral, make calls on just quick calls in his head. Something that Drew Brees is all-time good at.
Yeah.
Not deep routes. So I think, man, I don't like this question, and I made it.
It's so hard, dude.
I don't think either of these guys will ever start again. Is that crazy to say? Like,
that's really crazy to say.
I don't see any of these guys. No, okay.
These are the two greatest quarterbacks we've probably seen in our generation with Tom Brady.
Let me step back a little bit. Drew Brees will start the rest of this year once he comes back. Yes, 100%. I don't think that they're gonna give Big Ben their spot back. I think Mason Rudolph is gonna be good, and I think.
Well, what if he's not? What if they just absolutely their season is just tanked? Then he has to come back for next season. He would start next season.
But Big Ben is a guy that relies on that arm, and I've never seen a quarterback blow out his arm like that before. It just blew out. I mean, it completely gave away. So that's something that really worries me.
That's a pretty serious deal.
But I don't think Drew Brees plays past this year anyways, even before this injury.
You feel like this was his last year anyways?
Yes, I do. All right. I'm making the call. I'm more concerned about a completely blown out arm than I am an injured thumb. So I'm going to go with Drew Brees with a more certain future because I believe maybe his injury gives him a little more time. Maybe play next year. He says, you know what? I need to play a full season if I want to retire. You know, I want to play one more year. I think it's also faith in Mason Rudolph. I think this guy is actually a baller. Okay. We both watched him, and him and Baker Mayfield.
See, I like Mason Rudolph as well, but I just feel like if they don't even compete in that division, then they say Big Ben's our starter for next year.
All right, here's a scenario to where I would pick Big Ben. If Big Ben had an Alex Smith type style of play, where he was more about accuracy and precision, 10-yard out route, right on the money, instead of deep ball, air it out, get some yak yards, I would be much more in favor of Ben Roethlisberger here. But this is a guy that we've seen have the best pump fake in the NFL, in NFL history, I believe. One of the best scramblers, guys that get out of the pocket, make plays happen, and huck it down the field. Austin, his arm blew out. It blew out. It completely gave away. I can't trust it. At his age, and they're both advanced age at this point in the NFL, I can't trust it. Plus, I think he has the better backup option. I think he is better than Mason than Teddy Bridgewater. So I think they're more inclined to let Mason Rudolph keep his position.
Okay.
That's my final answer. Don't hold me to it.
Oh, don't hold me to mine either.
God, that hurt. That's
a really tough question.
That was absolutely.
Do you honestly believe that neither quarterback will start next year?
Yes. That is something I do believe. I do believe. I could see this injury kind of changing things for Drew Brees, though. I could see him saying, "Well, I don't want to play, 6 games in my final year. I want to play a full season, get this team under my belt. Maybe we can make one more run." But I thought that before the season that he was going to retire. So maybe this injury maybe makes that a different case. I do think that this is it for Big Ben. His arm blew out. That's something I've never seen I've never seen that happen to a quarterback before. Have you ever seen that?
No, I've never seen that.
And especially how much he relies on that arm. Plus, this was the guy that was going to take over for Big Ben anyways. I think maybe it's just a little ahead of schedule, but I think they're going to keep it that way anyways. I don't see Big Ben ever starting again. God, and I just
these are probably 2 out of the 4 greatest quarterbacks we've ever seen in our lifetime.
Of that generation, we've been watching Ben Roethlisberger, Drew Brees, Phillip Rivers, and Eli Manning. Phillip Rivers might be the only one playing at the end of this year. Man.
Unbelievable.
Well, he's the only one playing right now.
He's the only one playing right now. He's the only one playing right now.
That's just gut wrenching, wasn't it?
It
Yeah,
is.
that just
Yeah.
hurt. Okay. We'll move on to the Dolphins. I don't want to spend too much time on this because I'm very upset. I put $50 on them to win more than 5 games in Vegas. That was before they traded everybody. Dolphins.
It's tough.
So the Dolphins are taking this might be the worst team ever. First of all, do you agree with that? And do you like what they're actually making?
I think this is probably the worst team ever. Yeah. I mean, they don't have anything. I do like maybe some of the moves that they are making, though. I think they're a very young team, maybe one of the youngest teams in the NFL. So that's encouraging. And a lot of those guys are getting experience playing now, whereas a lot of the young guys on other rosters are not. So when you look towards the future and they kind of get some big time weapons and some big time leaders, yeah, I mean, it could be a couple years down the future, but I kind of like where they're headed, plus a new coaching staff, new everything. So yeah, right now this is probably the worst team ever because everything is just boom, blown up, ground zero. So now it's restarting, and they got some bricks in place. Yeah.
I don't know if I want to call it the worst team ever. It's certainly going to be amongst one of the worst. And one thing that a lot of times this happens is that bad teams are bad early, and then they kind of figure it out to a certain degree later in this season. They start to kind of fight for pride. Early bad teams are bad. They are excruciating. They are hard to watch, excruciatingly bad. So I think it'll be one of the worst teams ever. I don't think it will be the worst. And I love what they're building. You've heard me talk about Brian Flores. I think this is going to be the guy in Miami. I understand this might be a winless team this year. I understand that. I think that this is a guy with multiple different defensive schemes. He was a linebackers coach and a defensive play caller for the Patriots last year. He should be getting the credit for that Super Bowl win, not Bill Belichick. Never will happen, though. I think that this is a guy looking for that number one quarterback. I think he's looking for his next Tom Brady. And I think that the Miami Dolphins think it's Tua Tagovailoa. I don't believe that because he is the most precise Tom Brady kind of quarterbacks in this class, because you're kind of looking at Tua, you're looking at Jake Fromm, and you're looking at Justin Herbert. So you're looking at those are the big three. Jake Fromm plays a lot like Tua as well. They're both insanely accurate. I like Jake Fromm a little more, but I don't think he'll be a number one overall pick because I think he lacks some physical talents that a lot of teams are looking for. I love what they're building in Miami. They signed Xavier Howard long-term. Minka Fitzpatrick, by the way, people criticize them for trading him. He demanded a trade. He wanted out of Miami. So you kind of have to have that happen. They get a first-round pick for him. They have 2 or 3 in this upcoming year and then 3 in the year after that. That's insane. That's how you build teams through the draft. It may seem cheap. That's the only way Miami's going to get these guys. So I love what they're building in Miami. And I think Brian Flores – okay, all right. This is it. I'm putting it on the table right here, Austin. I think Brian Flores will win a Super Bowl in Miami. Put it on the table. That's it. Absolutely. But
gosh. You had 2 of the probably hottest takes in your career just in the last 20 minutes.
But don't give me a time. I don't want a time.
Put a time. If you're going to commit to a time.
I can't. You want me to put a timetable on this team?
Put a timetable on Jared Goff, and you were right.
I was, but I don't know. I can't put a timetable on them.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can, though. You got to. That's the whole. Be bold. If you're gonna.
All right. Just give me a second.
Now it can be a long time if that.
Give me 6 years.
Okay.
Within 6 years, I think Brian Flores will have a championship in Miami. Because I'm thinking, okay, so this year 0-16, more than likely. Draft 3 players in the next upcoming year that are going to contribute. Year after that, 3 more. they're like hovering around 8-8 probably at that point. I would say with all the new talent that they've had. If not, they're a little below 500. And you get a couple more years to build plus free agency. I think 5 to 6 years this team will be in Super Bowl.
Does retiring factor into that?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not.
I have this hot take. Brady retires in the next 6 years.
Yeah, hot take. He'll be 51. He'll be 51. I mean, come on. So I think Brian Flores brings a championship to Miami. I think they're also going to have problems with the Buffalo Bills in that division once Brady retired. I think the Buffalo Bills might be a tough out right now. I mean, you're watching them right now. So I think those are the two teams, excluding the Patriots, obviously, to look forward to. And I know I look like an absolute idiot saying that the Dolphins are going to win a Super Bowl within 6 years. I'm putting a lot of faith in the Brian Flores because I think they got just one of the best coaches in the NFL that no one talked about. I think they got a steal of a head coach. So I think once you build that foundation, owner, GM, head coach, those are the three building blocks of a foundation of the NFL franchise. I think they finally have those three in place, and they're solid. I like the Miami Dolphins. I love what they're building. So Super Bowl within 6 years. Title's going to be a hot take about the Miami Dolphins, and it's going to surprise people. That's surprising.
You're going to take down the Chiefs then, apparently.
Yeah. didn't think that far ahead, huh?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and do a little trimming. A lot of impromptu topics here. Okay. So, game of the week, I want to talk about it. I know it's my team, but I think it's going to be the best game in the NFL this week. Baltimore versus Kansas City. Now, Kansas City is favored by 6.5. Wow. Against Baltimore in Kansas City. This is the opener in Arrowhead. Austin, who do you like in this game and why?
I like the Chiefs. Why? Because it's the first game in Arrowhead. That place.
Okay.
That place is going to be maybe more hyped than it has been ever, and that's crazy to say because of how well Mahomes played last year, how well the Chiefs have looked already in the first two games, and how well the Ravens have looked in the first two games. That's why it's going to be so hyped. There's going to be so much on the line. Everyone remembers the game from last year. I think this could potentially be a close game because the Ravens feel like they should have beat the Chiefs last year. It was a Mahomes miracle. Maybe Mahomes' best play of the season last year was his throw to beat the Ravens. The Ravens should have won that game. And so I feel like they're like, you know what? We should have won that game last year. We're coming in here. We're fired up. We're feeling good about our first two games. Haven't played the two worst teams in the NFL up to this point. So I'm gonna pick the Chiefs on 100. I would say probably 90% of the fact due to it being in Arrowhead, and that's the first game of the season in Arrowhead. That's probably 90% of my reason right there.
Yeah, I'm also going to pick the Chiefs, and I'll kind of contradict my picks I'm going to have a little later on after this segment. I'm also going to go with the Chiefs. No surprise here. I'm not sold on Lamar Jackson 100% as this building block of one of the best young quarterbacks in NFL history that he's been hyped up to be so far. So, if you've been watching these past two games, he's played probably the two worst teams in the NFL, like you said, Miami Dolphins, Arizona Cardinals. Of those two, he has had very little pass rush to go against. He has had all day in the pocket to throw, and then against the Arizona Cardinals, every time he didn't have any time to throw, he scrambled and he rushed for almost 120 yards. So, this is a game that's tailor-made for the Chiefs to win. I believe that because Lamar Jackson is going to have a lot more pressure with Frank Clark, Chris Jones, Derek Nottie, Alex Okafor, who's been tremendous, by the way. And then this linebacking core has been playing very well, all except for Reggie Ragland, who's been ruled inactive for 2 weeks. Don't know why. Not sure what's going on there. But Bryce Wilson is going to be the guy to watch in this game. Former Dallas Cowboy linebacker. He's been playing.
Take all of our old linebackers that aren't good enough in Dallas.
Hitches has been playing terrific this year, too, so far. Bryce Wilson's been playing out of his mind. I cannot believe that you let this guy go. Of course, it's everyone's amazing 2 games of the week. So, or 2 games, 2 weeks through the year. So he's going to be on the will side. He's going to be on the weak side. That is the side that Lamar Jackson actually likes to scramble to the most. He's going to get more pressure on him than he is used to so far this season. He is going to have to contain Lamar Jackson the best that he can. They love to run heavy sets, which is an advantage for the Kansas City Chiefs, I do believe, with their linebacking play these past 2 weeks. I don't believe that Lamar Jackson is going to tear this Chiefs defense up. I don't see it happening. If he does, I'm done doubting him. If Lamar Jackson, I'm putting it right here on Mimi Halfway. If Lamar Jackson beats the Kansas City Chiefs and if he torches the defense, has to do both. Can't do one or the other. Has to do both. I'm done down Lamar Jackson. He's one of the legit quarterbacks in the NFL. This is the proving point for me for Lamar Jackson. So, and we know what the Kansas City offense is going to do. Get the best defense out there in the NFL. It doesn't matter. It just seems effortless for these guys, even without Tyreek Hill. They put 28 in a quarter. So, I'm taking Kansas City. All right, so let's review our picks from last Sunday.
Brutal stuff.
Brutal? I mean, we both went 1 for 2.
Yeah, but my first one was real rough.
Okay, talk about mine. Mine one was even worse than that. So, Austin, your picks were Kansas City -7 over Oakland. They more than covered on that one, so you win that one. Carolina -6.5 over Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay won outright that game, so 1 for 2 that week. That's okay. 1 for 2 is not bad. And then mine was much more embarrassing. I took the Dolphins +19 against New England. They lost by 34 points. See, my thought process is 19 points. You don't let that go. Like, if it was a 24-0 game and they score a touchdown, you cover. Like, that's insane to me. So I had to take the points. I regretted it. And then the Cardinals +13 against the Ravens, and they almost beat the Ravens. They should have beat the Ravens. But they more than covered with the Cardinals. So both 1 for 2. Austin, you're 1 of 4 on the year so far, and I am 2 of 4. So not too far. Okay, what are your picks for this upcoming Sunday?
This one I have Detroit +6 at the Eagles. I think that's going to be a really close game. I think, and I've been pretty high on Detroit so far, and they looked pretty good last week as well. So, yeah, I think I'm going to – I almost want to take Detroit outright in this game, to be honest.
Which, if you wanted to do that, the smart bet – not that we do that on here – but the smart bet would be a money line, which is you're just betting the game straight up, but you're going to get more money for Detroit. But you're not going to get the points. So it'd be just an outright who wins, and you would get a better bet for Detroit. Because these games with the lines and the spreads are usually -110. So you're going to get the same bet no matter what. But I do agree very much with that pick. So
yeah, so I'm going to go
surprised it's 6 too, aren't you? I'm surprised.
That's why I looked at it and I was like, 6, huh? Yep, I'll take that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly my whole reason. I looked at it and I was like, doesn't seem right to me. Doesn't seem right. And then my next one is the Cowboys 21.5 over the Dolphins, which is a lot. I don't know. Like, the Cowboys so far, they've gotten off to kind of a slower start in both of their games. And then they've looked really dominant in the third quarter. And then in the fourth quarter, they've just stopped. So I almost want to take the Dolphins with the points because I don't know if the Cowboys will beat them by 21.
Is it in Miami?
And I know I don't know actually if it's in Miami. It's in Dallas.
Dallas, okay.
In Dallas. So I might take the Dolphins with the points because the Cowboys are capable of winning by that much, but in the fourth quarter throughout both of their games this season, they've just given up garbage time touchdowns, and Dak and Zeke just run the football up the middle to run the clock down, which I think could be a case in this game.
So what Vegas is telling you is that the home team always gets +3. That's always a home field advantage is you get, or excuse me, -3. So you're favored by 3. So they think it's really 18.5 they're favored by. That's a tough bet either way. I would not put any money on that because I did it last time and the Dolphins disappointed me. But we saw last year the Cowboys were also a streaky team, but that's not the same Cowboys team this year. 21.5. They have to win by 22 points, Austin, for you to cover for the Cowboys. Are you sure they're going to be able to do that?
No, I don't think the Cowboys are going to be able to do that.
So you're taking the Dolphins?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not sure the Dolphins can cover either. I mean, this is insane.
The Dolphins.
That's a bet I 100% have. I stay away from that. There's no way. But go ahead. That's a crazy spread. That's college football. That's college football spread. Unbelievable. Okay. Number 1 for me. I'm going to take the Seahawks. Excuse me. Seahawks at home -4 over the Saints. This Drew Brees being out is going to make a big impact. I don't care. Teddy Bridgewater did look good when he came in. I don't care. 12th man in Seattle. They're 2-0. They're hyped up to play the Saints. I don't care who's starting for quarterback at the Saints right now. I would take them outright even with Drew Brees. The Seahawks are winning this game at home. I like it, especially -4. I'd like it a lot more at -3, but I think even with the extra point, I still like -4. So I'm going with the Seahawks. And then number 2, it may not make sense, but Baltimore +6.5. That's too big of a spread. I'm a Chiefs fan. I think the Chiefs are going to win. It's the first game at Arrowhead, so that gives you so basically the Chiefs are favored by 3.5. This is not a 6.5 point spread, Austin. I don't see that. I see that. This is an even matchup for me. So I would go. This would be a pick'em. This is a pick'em game. I mean, there's so many up in the air with both of these teams right now. I mean, more on Baltimore sides. But I think it's a pick'em, and I see +6.5. I'm taking those points 10 times out of 10. So I'm going with the Seahawks -4 versus the Saints at home, and I'm going with Baltimore in Arrowhead +6.5 against the Chiefs.
All right.
I bet against the Chiefs twice. So far. So last week, my bet of the days were BYU +4.5. They ended up beating Arizona. They beat USC outright, and the Raiders to score on the first drive. Raiders not only scored on the first drive, but the second drive as well.
Pretty impressive, really.
Thank you. Does it feel like I know what I'm saying when I do these? Does it feel like it? Because it doesn't for me.
You've been doing well so far, that's for sure.
I should be keeping track, but I definitely haven't been. All right, we'll move on to our top 5 list. We're getting around to an hour in the show. It's been going great. Okay, top 5 cornerbacks in the NFL while we're on the topic with Jalen Ramsey. So I'll go first, just real quick. Number 5, I have to acknowledge what his play in the Super Bowl did for the New England Patriots. It pains me to say it, being a former Buffalo Bill. He's playing better with another team that I absolutely despise. Stephon Gilmore at number 5. He's been playing more of a number 1 or number 2 on my list, but physical abilities, I think I put him toward the bottom of the pack when it comes to these guys. Because I think these other guys are special talents. Number 4, Jalen Ramsey. Biggest, strongest, fastest. I mean, I wouldn't say fastest, actually. Biggest, strongest. There's almost no doubt. His arms are insanely long, and that's so valuable at the cornerback position. I just don't know if up here is 100% all the time. If it is, he's number 1, and there's no dispute between us two. If his up here is right, being you both know Jalen Ramsey is number 1.
I think everyone
right.
I don't think anyone would disagree with that.
And then number 3, I have Xavier Howard. This is one of the best route jumpers in the NFL. Plays for the Miami Dolphins. I know. I'm a Miami Dolphins homer, it seems like. But I love this guy's ball abilities. He finds the football. That's something that is so exceptionally valuable. Like Xavier Howard at number 3, even though he might not look good this year because there's nothing else around him. Number 2, I like Byron Jones. When I excluded the fastest from Jalen Ramsey, this is the guy. This is the biggest. Yep. This is the best athlete of any corner I've ever seen, maybe since Deion Sanders. His insane pro day and his insane combine before he got drafted by the Dallas Cowboys. This man is a freak of nature athletically. He may not be the biggest. He may not be Jalen Ramsey's size, but this guy is a freak when it comes to the measurables. So I love Byron Jones, number 2. And the number 1, I have Kyle Fuller. This is the best ball hawk in the NFL. This guy finds the football. Xavier Howard might jump the route better than Kyle Fuller is, but Kyle Fuller finds the football. He is a zone man nightmare. Either way you put him on either side, even though he's usually stays on that wide receiver 1 side. He's a monster. I love the way he finds the football 100%. So Kyle Fuller, number 1.
For 5, we have a lot of the same guys, and I think pretty much every list you'll ever look up has a lot of these same 5 guys. Number 5 for me is Jalen Ramsey. I think up here. 5 there's no question about talent. 4, I have Stephon Gilmore, and I think this is a guy who he is smart and he knows the right reason. He fits the New England Patriots defensive system very, very well. Very well. Number 3, I have Kyle Fuller. This is a guy like Jordan was just saying, a zone beast. Literally quarterbacks, if they see the zone, they have to adjust to say, okay, let me double check, let me triple check my route so I don't throw an interception because this guy will intercept it.
Let me add on. He covers ground faster than anyone I've ever seen at the cornerback position.
Oh, yeah.
That might be the biggest differential between everything else.
Yep. Number 2, I have Byron Jones for the Dallas Cowboys. Jordan said it in terms of speed, in terms of athleticism, turning your head and doing all of the right little things that Chris Richard, who is now the defensive coordinator for the Cowboys, has taught some of those other corners for the Cowboys. This guy has taken all of that and perfected it to a T. I mean, what an incredible pick that the Cowboys got, that this guy turned out to be.
I have a hot take for you. Okay. I think the only corner in the NFL that can cover Tyreek Hill is Byron Jones. He's the only guy that I think that can keep up with him. Jalen Ramsey has proven he cannot. So true. I think your boy Jones might be able to keep up with Tyreek.
I hope he remains a Cowboy because he's going to be very coveted once his contract. Yes, please, God, please. I'd rather pay him. I might rather pay him before Dak, honestly. And Dak's been playing well, that shows a lot about Byron Jones.
Yeah.
Number 1, I actually have Xavier Howard. This is a guy who I think is he only played 12 games last season, and he led the league in interceptions. So it was like, this is a guy who is really good, really smart, and plus, he's the only guy on the Dolphins that's really worth anything at this point. He's the sole leader of that entire team right now. He's their best player. And he's a guy, when other teams play against you, like, okay, let's go to the other side of the field and score touchdowns. We're not going to go to him because he'll turn it the other way. He's that good. He's actually number 1 for me.
That's crazy because I am a huge Xavier Howard fan, and you have a number 1, so that's pretty incredible. And one thing I think about Xavier Howard also is that he also didn't really have a whole lot of talent last year either. It's not like everyone's gone now. It's not
he only played 12 games last season.
Oh, exactly. And it's also like they didn't get rid of a whole lot of talent because they didn't really have a whole lot to begin with. Like Minkah Fitzpatrick is the only other guy in that secondary. Rashad Jones is always injured, it feels like, this season. So there's not a whole lot to work with anyhow. So I love Xavier Howard. I'm glad you recognized him. I wasn't even 100% sure that you would know the difference between him and Xavier Rhodes, who has completely fallen off, by the way, which is almost hard to describe. But all right, top 5 worst candies. Take it away.
We've done best. Now we're doing worst. For me, I think there's a clear number 1 on this list, and you don't even have it on your list at all. We'll get to that.
I do. They're just not what you think they are. Dude, we'll get to it.
Okay. Number 5, I have root beer barrels. This is kind of an old candy that you find at like a Cracker Barrel or like an old like candy store. They're like hard candies, and it straight up just tastes like root beer. And if you know me, I don't like root beer. So this is something that a lot of my siblings like. Nope. Number 4, I have an Almond Joy. I'm not a huge coconut guy, for one. I'm definitely not an almond guy. So the combo of these two together, just I'm not here for it. I'm not here for it. Number 3, dark chocolate. This is chocolate that doesn't taste good. Like it's literally like just I don't even know. It's unsweet chocolate is what it is. It's like with less milk and less like I don't know. It's just not sweet. It tastes terrible. Number 2, hot tamales. I'm not a big hot guy anyway to begin with. And these are like they're literally like Mike and Ike's, but they're hot and they're terrible. I like Mike and Ike's a lot. That was on my top 5 good candies. These are hot Mike and Ike's, and they're just terrible. And then number 1 for me, and I think this should be the number 1 for literally every human being ever. Black licorice. Everyone knows it. Everyone knows just how awful it truly is. It's a just clear. When I saw this, I was like, "Oh, that's an easy number 1 immediately." Just here we go, no doubt. So yeah, that's my worst candies. Wouldn't recommend any of them.
All right. I will. We have pretty much the same top 3. Number 4, your number 4 is Almond Joy. I actually have a few people that tell me that's their favorite candy bar. So that one you might have some pushback on, but I don't
agree with your number 4 either. I really like your number 4.
The number 4 on my list is literally a social media joke because it's so bad.
I disagree. All
right. Number 5, I have Circus Peanuts. Those are the phone. You know what they are.
I also really like Circus Peanuts.
All right.
I like them.
They're tasteless. They're foamy. They're rubbery, and they just aren't meant to be consumed by a human stomach. They just don't feel natural when you're eating it. You don't know what it is. You're thinking, why am I doing this to myself? A lot of questions run through your head with Circus Peanuts. So I have them at number 5. Number 4, Yellow Starburst. And you said you love them. I know you're lying. No one loves Yellow Starburst. Awesome. It is literally a joke on the internet. When you open those little pack of Starburst and they have 2 of them in there, that you would never wish upon your worst enemy to ever get 2 yellows. If you get 2 yellows, you might as well pack it in, have a good night. Your day's over. Yellow Starbursts are the worst. They're terrible. Absolutely terrible.
I guess I didn't know that. I've always thought they were pretty good.
Look, I'm serious. Look it up on your computer right now. Yellow Starburst. It is a running joke on the internet. And it deserves to be. And then number 3, we're in more than consensus here. Dark chocolate. You're absolutely right. It's chocolate that doesn't taste good. It's chocolate like how do I describe?
My dad loves it. Loves it.
It's like if they made a chocolate. Man, this is tough to say. If a vegan store made chocolate, chocolate would be that. It would be tasteless, just nothing. But they say it's healthy, so you go with it. Yeah. So dark chocolate, number 3. Number 2, I have Good and Plenty. This actually is black licorice. But it's packaged. You've seen them in the stores. You probably just don't notice them. They're like Mike and Ike's, but it's black licorice inside of it.
Oh, so, wow.
Yeah. So it's. I don't know what else to say. It's absolutely horrible.
Wow, that's
black licorice.
Brutal.
Yeah. So I didn't know what it was for the longest time. I guarantee you, Austin, you've seen Good and Plenty in a store. You just didn't know it. You didn't know what it was. I didn't know it was black licorice until I had it. I had one piece of it forever ago. It was horrible. Black licorice is pretty much my number 1 or 2 most hated. But there is also a big black licorice following around the nation. It's like either it's your favorite and you love it, or it's the absolute worst. Which is like, it's more like 85-15, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then number 1, I hate these things so much. I'm a candy enthusiast and I hate these things so much. Hot tamales. God, I get upset just thinking about it. It's not meant to be candy. If you want something hot, go get some hot wings. Go drink some Tabasco. Don't put it in candy. Don't make this hot tamales a thing. It's absolutely disgusting. They say it's cinnamon. It doesn't taste anything like cinnamon. It just tastes like fire. It's awful.
Fire.
I hate hot tamales with a dying passion. For me, it's number one, and then a big gap, and then the rest of my list. Suck it, hot tamales. I hate you.
I love it.
I hate it so much. I can't tell you how much I hate them. Okay. I guess I did tell you how much I hate them. All right, Twitter poll question of the day. Let me go back and look. I asked you guys, who do you think would lose their starting quarterback position first between Joe Flacco, Jimmy Garoppolo, Jameis Winston, and Case Keenum? Let me look at the results. I actually haven't looked at the results. Okay. So, oh wow. All right. 28 votes here, Austin. Just
Okay.
guess. Did you know the results?
I did not know the results.
Who would you guess would be number one? So
What was
Flacco,
the question again?
who was to be the first quarterback to lose his starting job this season? Flacco, Jimmy Garoppolo, Jameis Winston, Case Keenum. We both said Case Keenum.
I would have said Case Keenum, yeah.
Okay. He was second. Joe Flacco comes in at number one with 46% of the vote.
Wow, a lot of Denver fans out there weighing in.
Jimmy G with 4%. Jameis Winston 21. Case Keenum 29. So Joe Flacco with a wide margin of victory.
Jeez, I would not have expected that.
But the thing is, though, I disagree with that because who's gonna replace
That's
him?
gonna. That would almost be my last pick. Like it would probably be. I would probably go Keenum, Winston, Garoppolo, Flacco.
I think maybe people are thinking that Drew Lock is still there. Drew Lock has a thumb injury. He's out for most of the year. He's not coming back anytime soon. So maybe people are under the impression that he's under pressure over Drew Lock still, and they just don't know about the injury. But they don't have an option besides Joe Flacco.
Nope.
He's not losing his starting job. There's no way. Okay. All right. We'll move on to our new Twitter poll question of the day. We're just talking about cornerbacks. We're going to keep it on the topic. We're going to hear from you guys. I kind of mixed up the results here. Comment below whoever you guys think is the best cornerback in the NFL that we didn't mention because we do only have 4 options. So I gave you Jalen Ramsey, Stephon Gilmore, Kyle Fuller, and then I threw in Richard Sherman for name value. So you think that's a good 4 to put in? You think I should edit it, put maybe Xavier Howard in there or something? I don't know.
No, yeah, I think those are good.
Those 4? Okay. All right. So Jalen Ramsey, Stephon Gilmore, Kyle Fuller, or Richard Sherman. My vote between those 4. I'm going to go with Kyle Fuller because he was my number 1 on the list anyhow. So, all righty. It's time for Fact or Fiction. Are you ready?
I've been eating, so you know I'm ready.
Mr. McNorton, you have been just keeping me up at night.
Let's go.
You've been killing me lately. Absolutely killing me.
I really have been.
All right. You are 21 of 39 on the year. First of all,
Well, thank you.
Well done. Well done. You've been on a hot streak lately. Unfortunately, that ends today.
Bet. I think you said that last week, too. So.
I did not say that last week.
I don't know. Let's check the tape.
I was like, I hope it ends. Now I'm ending it today.
Okay.
I'm bowling a 1 for 3 or a 0 for 3.
We'll see.
All right. That's put the pressure on me. So, come on, Jordan. All right. Are you ready?
Oh, I'm definitely ready.
Number 1. The average person will spend 10 months of their life snoozing their alarm clocks. Or South Koreans are 1.5 inches taller than North Koreans.
Boy, that's pretty specific. I'm going to say the alarm clock one is real because I know so many people that they'll set like 20 different alarms just so they can snooze through all of them until their last alarm. I'm a person, I set 1 alarm, there we go. I know so many people who just set 20 and they'll snooze on all of them. So I'm going to say that one's real.
Okay. I will comment on that. I used to be at Butler. I used to be to have like 20 alarms. I'm now the 1 alarm person.
Okay.
Good for you.
Good for you.
On the first alarm, I just feel better. I'm like, okay. I'm over. I'm out of bed. I'm over. Right. But you're wrong. 0 for 1. So I'm off to a good start.
Wow. Man, I thought.
Yes, sir.
I was
Actually,
pretty confident. Wow.
I actually maybe they do spend 10 months of their life snoozing alarms. I just made it up. Maybe it is true. Who knows? I might have made a fact by accident.
Wow, that's well done. That was a good one. That was a good one to start. You need it.
All right. Number 2. You ready for this one?
I am very ready.
I could feel the confidence kind of come out of your body there for a second.
I was pretty confident in that last one, I'm not going to lie. So now I'm not so sure.
All right, number 2. Time magazine found that college campuses are the, quote, most influential or most intellectual places on earth, end quote. Or that a journal published a fake article about Star Trek. So let me rephrase it because I completely messed up that word. Time magazine found that college campuses are the most intellectual places on earth.
Okay.
Or that a journal posted a fake article about Star Trek.
Gosh. Time magazine seems pretty reliable. But I'm gonna say the Star Trek one's real.
1 for 1.
Oh, all right.
1 for 1. All right, well done. Well done. That was
using Time magazine. Well, geez, man, you're stepping it up. You're stepping it up.
All right, so this is going to determine if I've won or if you have defeated me yet again. Fourth
big
consecutive
one.
show. This is a lot of pressure here, Austin. All right, number 3. Captain Crunch berries actually now outsells the original Captain Crunch, or that Scotland has more than 400 words for the word snow.
Oof. I am a big fan of Captain Crunch berries, and so I'm gonna go with that one being real because I think more people like the berries than the actual Captain Crunch. So I'm gonna go with that being real.
You are right. More people like the berries than the Captain Crunch, but you're wrong on this question.
Oh my gosh!
Oh,
wow!
Had to do
well
it.
Done.
Had to do it to you. Yeah, and you know what? Again, that might actually be true, but I just don't know it. But I completely made it up. So,
gosh,
1 for 3.
Man, that just seems so believable to me because Captain Crunch berries they're so much better.
So much better. So much better.
It's not close.
It's really not. But yeah, Scotland has more than 400 words for the word snow. And this is what I did. You've been on the scent, Austin. Like you're just a bloodhound.
It really threw me off today. Now I'm lost.
The thing is, you've been killing me with the stats. You've been finding the BS stats that I've been putting in there, and you've been sniffing it out. So I finally kind of counteracted it, and I put the stats in there that were actually correct. So that's how I did it. Next week, who knows what I'll be up to? Who knows what I'll be up to?
Well
All
done.
right. Last segments of the day, and then we got to end the show. We're sorry. I went 2 for 2 with my bets last week, and I plan on doing it again. Number 1, I have A.J. Brown, slot receiver for the Tennessee Titans, going against the Jacksonville Jaguars tonight to have 7 or more receptions tonight. And those are plus 2,000 odds, Austin. Crazy odds for have 7 or more receptions. He had 150 or 111 yards in his first game. I'm not really sure what his last week's stats were, but you're going to have Jalen Ramsey. He's going to follow Corey Davis, their number 1 receiver.
Yeah.
A.J. Brown is going to have everything that he can have in that slot, especially because A.J. Boye is out yet again. So I think A.J. Brown is going to have a big night tonight. 7, I think, is going to be the target for him. That slot guy is going to be a big-time safety blanket for him. So 7 or more receptions tonight, plus 2,000 odds. I love that. Put 10, 20 bucks on it. You're making $200. All right. My number 2, will a California team win the 2020 NBA Finals? Now, no is a minus 130. Yes is an even bet.
Okay.
Take the yes. Los Angeles Clippers, Los Angeles Lakers, and Golden State Warriors. I'm going to bet that one of those three is going to win the title. So I'm taking the even bet. Put some money on that and double your money up.
Heck yeah. Today in sports history, in 1947, number 42, Jackie Robinson was named Rookie of the Year in the MLB. Crazy. That's a great movie, by the way. You ever seen that movie?
Oh, a million times.
So good. So good.
Have you ever seen, what is it? It's the Jesse Owens movie. I can't think of the name. Race. I think it's called Race.
I haven't.
Very, very good.
Okay.
All right. That is it for us on Meet Me Halfway. Great show, Austin. You guys say goodbye, people.
As always, goodbye, people.
All right. I'm Jordan Griffith. He is Austin McNorton. Meet Me Halfway. Thank you guys for watching. Tune in next Thursday for more ways to make money. Thank you guys for watching.